sun is very bright this morning, which is nice. It's a beautiful day, and it's not too hot and it's not too cold, and like you can wear a long sleeve and be nice, and you get in the shade and it's a little too cold, but you get in the sun and it's just right. Love those days. I have been trying I guess it's a diet. It's not a diet like I will lose weight, I'm doing this. It's like just a way of eating. That definition of it, called bright line eating. The lady I heard describing it on a podcast, she said bright line. The line is we eat these things, we don't eat these things. And it's not like something that when she said it, I was like, ooh, yeah, I guess that would work for maybe a while, but I don't think you should eat like that forever. Like, I think you could eat like this forever and it'd probably be fine. Which is the only reason I would try it, because all of the low carb, what's it called, carnivore, all of that stuff, like maybe it's good for like a season, if you're trying to accomplish something, but I don't think you should eat like that forever. Some of this weird stuff. So the bright line is we don't eat sugar, we don't eat flour, which is, I did know sugar for a long time, like around college, when I got out of college. I remember one day I had been off sugar for like 6 months, and I had some peanut butter, and I was like, let me get a scoop of peanut butter. And it like lit me up like a fire. I was like, oh my gosh, wow. And I ate like half the jar of peanut butter because it had so much sugar in it. But this time, no artificial sweeteners, because I had been doing that. And yeah, the calories may be helpful, but I really think I agree with it that it just makes it worse. That your brain's like, oh, we need some more of that, and it's just trying to reach for that all the time. Because when I don't have sugar, when I don't have flour, I don't want it. And I think flour, bread, pasta, things like that, it's so integrated into our society. Just like milk. Like, I'm allergic to milk. I don't need to be ingesting dairy all the time. I don't think anybody needs to be ingesting dairy all the time, especially not grown-ups. I guess it's a cheapish sort of protein, calcium. I don't know. I know the government subsidizes. They probably subsidize it too. Dairy farming for some reason. All this government recommendations on what you eat is based on money and profits, right? So, bright line, if I'm not mistaken, the recommendations are daily you eat like 12 ounces of fruit, which is hard to do. Like, you need a scale. You get a scale and you weigh your food. And, like, it's not counting calories, so you're not having to look up, you're not having to scan it, you're not having to put it in an app to figure out the strawberry has 30 calories or whatever. I still remember that a banana has 100 calories. I guess that is going to be burned into my brain forever. But you don't do that. So you get 10 to 12 ounces of fruit. I may be wrong. I've got it written down in the refrigerator, and I tally it throughout the day. Protein is like 12 to 14 or 14 to 16 ounces a day. That is a lot, y'all. 1 to 2 ounces of grains, and not grains that have been like ground up and turned into flour, like oatmeal. Not accustomed to having this, wanting this, I will make myself get my own baby carrots and my own broccoli and cut it up, whatever. So I'm to that stage this week because 20 ounces of vegetables per day demolished that veggie plate. It's not worth buying it for me to eat half of it for one meal. So we're just gonna do that thing. But on another podcast, they were talking about eating vegetables, and the host was saying, well, eating a lot of vegetables when you're not used to it, doesn't that cause you like a lot of gas? And the doctor, I think she was interviewing, was like, well, you have something called the FFC. And she's like, the what? And he said, the fart frequency curve, that it will be really high at first and then it'll go down. So I keep waiting for my FFC to go up, and it hasn't. It's been like a week and a half. So I think my body just likes this. Let's do a different podcast today. The guy was talking about getting your protein from beans. I hate beans. I hate them. I can abide chickpeas. Man, I hate beans. I don't like them. They make my tummy feel ouchy. Are they high FODMAP? I think they are. I have played around with FODMAPs before when my tummy was not happy with me. And I think I was actually in SIBO. But I think I'm sensitive to FODMAPs. I don't think it's something like that I'm going to have to follow every day for the rest of my life. Because I straight up just ate a raw apple on an empty stomach. And it was not that big of a problem. Or none. So... beans, and I don't like the way they taste. I don't have any way of fixing beans that I really like, except for chickpeas. I kind of like tofu, but it's really got to be prepared well, and I'm a texture eater. I don't like eating weird textures. Tofu's always weird. I don't have a category for that in my brain. It's like my husband and umami flavors. He does not have a category for that. Okay, I love mushrooms, miso soup, stinky cheese, even though I'm not really a dairy fan. I like some nutritional yeast, big fan. He does not have a category for that. To him, food is either salty or sweet, or sour, I guess. Like, when he eats a mushroom, he's like, oh, it tastes like dirt. I'm like, yeah, that's actually a flavor. That's not a bad thing. I used to crave dirt. I think that means you're deficient in something. Probably several things. Yeah, 20 ounces of vegetables a day. I mean, what could be bad about that? Like cutting your carbs down to 0 and eating 200 grams of protein a day. I see how that could be bad for you, especially over a long period of time. 20 ounces of vegetables a day? Who cares? I am going to have to get some variety in my vegetables, though, because right now I'm just kind of sticking with broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, zucchini. Although I got to watch about zucchini and squash. It will kind of make me extra gassy. Maybe those are FODMAP foods. I don't remember. I used to have them all memorized, but I think really most of the gastrointestinal issues I have had has either been related to wheat, sugar, or probably alcohol, because we all know that is not good for your gut. So, be killing off them germs down there, drinking ethanol. Who would have thought, Oh, this looks good. Nice clear-cut trees. Ugh, they need to come clean that up, plant something. That looks terrible. Why'd they leave some of the trees? I'm confused. Whatever. That's what we need to do with our land. We have inherited a pretty large amount of land that I'm not sure is even... I don't think the will has been completely probated because my husband chose not to start the process until 3 years later. So this land, cut it for timber, get it clear cut, get it cleared, because it's just trash. It's just brush, underbrush. It's not even good trees. You know, like I'm not a fan of just being like, there's too many trees around here. We hate those guys. But brush is not, undergrowth is not trees. That's just junk. So, I mean, no plants are junk. They're all important. But I think it's not 40 acres, but it's like 20 something. It's a lot. And we're going to have to pay a lot of taxes on it. There's no reason for us to just accumulate these assets and not have them work for us. We need to get that land clear cut, sell the timber of what we can, and then have it replanted with pine or something, you know, especially after another thing I would like is to be able to see the land. Like, you can't even walk to it, through it, around it, behind it, between it, up under it. You can't get through it. All them prepositions, because the undergrowth is so thick. Clear cut, sell what you can, clear it, figure out what we got going on. I would like to build a house over there. If we can't find a flat spot, we need to do some dirt work, and then plant trees for timber later. Okay, probably not in our lifetime, but if we're going to be responsible for having these assets, they need to work for us, because man, we already have been paying in too much taxes when we file taxes. Like several years ago, you know, when the kids were small, 5-6 years ago, we would get back a refund, sometimes $5,000-$6,000. And now I don't think we've changed anything, you know, with our withholdings. We this time got like $1,300 back federal and have to pay in $1,600 to the state. What the heck? So, like, I'm not saying we're not going to pay it either way, but I would rather have it taken out of my check gradually than have to mail a daggum check. Does not make me happy. Even though I know it's my own money. And I know there's people who would say, no, don't do that. You want your money working for you in your account, not the government holding on to it. Which is true, but I ain't got time to fool with that. If I didn't have a job full